Today I am attempting a challenge I've wanted to do for ages. It seems forever since I've done any of these kinds of videos for you and I've missed them. And it's now the right time of year to be able to get the most out of our money in terms of food. So this is my challenge for the week, to eat off £1 a day. I'm going to put it all together for the 7 days. I'm going to get the shopping done, hopefully about £7. We're going to go to Tesco's. That's my supermarket of choice. That's the nearest one to me. I've already made a kind of list. I've had a quick look online. It depends on availability. It depends. This was like a couple of days ago when I looked, so prices could have changed. Whatever, it might not be suitable or appropriate, or there might be better deals. I'm going to look in the whoopsie sections, although from personal experience recently, they've been a bit rubbish. So I've got a plan in mind. I'm prepared to change it along the way if I need to, but I think this can be done, believe it or not. So for disclosure, it will be me doing this challenge and not my children, because I don't think they'll be able to cope. And also I will be using just some basic things in the house like salt and pepper. And I did manage to find at the back of the cupboard a random box of miscellaneous stock cubes, which I think pretty much any household will have in. I may try and avoid things like oils or spreads as much as possible, but I will allow myself to use them. I've got olive oil, or I've got the spread if I absolutely need to, but we'll see how we get on. Hopefully I'll be able to avoid using them. So let's get stuck in. So we've just got to Tesco and we're going to go and have a look and see what we've got. I've written a shopping list, but obviously it depends on what they've got available and things that I know I'm looking for, and just see if there's any deals on when we get there. So let's go inside and see what we can find. And I was actually quite impressed. In fact, there is potentially room for getting even cheaper, but certain things I don't like, certain things I didn't want to do, or you know, they've got to suit me. I've got to want to eat these things at the end of the day. So this is what I've gone with. Cabbage. I got this cottage cheese. I didn't actually go for cottage cheese. I wanted the cream cheese, but that seemed to have gone up in price since I checked online a few days ago. This was slightly cheaper by a few pennies, but then it meant I had room elsewhere, so that was that. Spaghetti, 28p, cheapest one there. Tin of tomatoes. I was going to get baked beans. The spaghetti rings were actually cheaper, so we've gone for spaghetti rings instead. Free range eggs. I got the medium size, 6 of them, but again, these have gone up slightly in price. The ones I'd seen online were about 20p cheaper, but they were mixed sizes. Now these ones were only medium, they didn't have any mixed sizes in, so again, could have saved money there. I also have gone for free range because I'm not super keen on eggs in the first place, but if I'm going to eat them, they do taste considerably better than caged eggs. So again, could have saved money there if you wanted to. Now, I bought this because it's got 8 packets in. That's one for every morning if I wanted to. I had thought about might have eggs and toast one day, but we'll see. These were £1, They just plain rolled up to 90p, and I just thought for the sake of the 10p difference, I've got some extra flavour in this. These are apple and blueberry, so you know, they're already portioned out for me. So again, could have saved some more money, but this is what I've gone for. Carrots with 15p. Onions, 15p. Swede, 15p. I definitely took advantage of all the offers on of the fruit and vegetables that not always, well, definitely the vegetables rather, because they're not always on, so it seemed foolish not to. Huge bag of potatoes, so versatile. You know, I've got wedges, I've got jack potato, I've got mash, I've got bubble and sweet, which I can make with some of this cabbage. Yeah, chips, whatever, there's loads of things we can do with that. I wasn't going to get this, but then it was like 28p, and I thought this could probably jazz something up, make a change from the potatoes I'm not going to be looking forward to for the next week. Golden vegetable savoury rice, it serves two, so that's 2 meals in that. I wanted some protein. I weighed up getting sausages, and instead of waiting for chicken wings, £2.09. Sausages were, the ones I like, £2. I just felt like I've not had chicken wings for ages, and there's quite a lot in this. I looked at the chicken legs, but in terms of weight, this is 1,052 grams. So I was like, well, definitely got a couple of meals out of that. And I can probably use the chicken wing bones for stock as well. I know I've got these stock cubes in, but we're trying to avoid using them as much as possible. So I've got loads of ideas of what we're gonna do. And then I treated myself. I'd initially put in a loaf of bread for 45p. It's not my favourite bread. And then because I was just like doing quick calculations in my head, and I really fancied some crusty roll. I've got plans to make a few soups and thought a bit of crusty bread will go great. So this was 80p. Shut up, I haven't brought a loaf of, or a crusty white baton full price for ages. Hadn't realised they were going to be so much. But this is how much it all came to. £8.03 is what I spent. I'm really quite happy with that. So I'm going to put together a meal plan. We'll go through some of the things that I'm going to make, maybe a couple of the recipes as well. So I'm quickly just going to jot down every ingredient that I bought for this challenge, and I know I've already got them on the receipt, but for me, when I'm trying to put together my meal plan, it's much easier for me to be able to see them visually right in front of me, and if I need to cross them off so I know I've used some or part of some, then I'm able to do that, and it kind of helps me really as I go through. So for a lot of these, for the breakfast, I already know that I'm mostly going to be having oats, and I'll just put a repeat sign in there, and as I plan through the rest of the week, if I've got eggs left over, I might have those as an eggs on toast. Let's just have a look at where I'm going to start to. Now, normally I am putting together a menu where it's based off of my life and the things that I've got going on. But for right now, I'm just going to throw things down. And to be fair, it's quite versatile for this particular challenge because I can switch things up, I can switch things around. I'm just putting together potentials. And if I have something at a lunch or a dinner, then that's fine as well. So the jacket potatoes and hoops I've thought about first of all, and then as I've gone on I've adapted my plan because I've realised that actually some of the leftovers from making one of the meals I can make into a filling for one of the jacket potatoes. So I will go ahead and I'll adapt that as I go through. But I'm making it as I see fit, and to be fair, as I've done this, I've realised there's so much actual leftovers as well. I'm not actually going to use all the food that I bought, which for me is incredible. I mean, to be fair, I worked out about £8.14, I think it was per day. And I don't actually spend all that. So by the time, you know, you calculate everything that you have spent or not spent. So I'm probably right there on the nose, to be fair. And like, for example, the eggs, I had more than enough left over. So I could definitely do some for eggs and sort of toast left over in the morning for breakfast. And actually I could probably boil some as well for snacks throughout the week. So that'd be great. Right, so today I'm going to make it a bit of a prep day. I'm going to grab the vegetables, have a look at what I've got exactly in the bags and how fresh they are and things like that, and then sort of weigh it up and decide what I'm going to do with them. But also I'm thinking if I prep and have things ready to eat, I'm less likely then to fail at this because it's going to be tricky. Whereas I think if I have to go ahead and make soups or I have to go ahead and prep the vegetables there and then, I'm more likely to look for something that's easy to grab and go with. So as much as I can, obviously I can't do all of it, but I'm going to get things ready Friday, I'll do some cutting up, some chopping with you and show you and talk to you about what I'm planning on doing with certain things and why I'm doing them. And yeah, so mostly because I'm looking at doing a few soups. There's loads of vegetables there that'll go with that. So yeah, let's have a look and let's get on with some prep work. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab the potatoes because it was advertised as like an all-rounder mixed bag, basically, potatoes. So I'm gonna see what is suitable for different things. So I'm planning on doing jackets, wedges, and mash. So based off of these, I'm just going to find the smallest ones, which I'll be using for mash. And then I've got these 3 really big ones, so probably just put them to one side for hopefully jacket potatoes, and those 2 small ones will be good for making chips or wedges. Next up, we've got the carrots, and I'm really impressed with these. They are really lovely and fresh and crisp looking. Some of them I'm just going to keep for soups, some I'm going to keep for snacks, and some for that carrot and swede mash, so there's plenty here. Next, we've got the onions, which will mostly be for that French onion style soup, but also some for that tomato with vegetable type curry. Next is the white cabbage, and this can be quite a tough vegetable if you don't know how to do it right. I'm going to be braising most of this, but definitely getting some of it into the soups for my vegetable soup. And if it's done right, it can be really, really delicious. So watch what we do with this. Right, let's crack on with making some soup. We've got some cabbage, some potatoes, some carrot, and a little bit of swede in here, and I'm adding in some onion, finely sliced as well. This is just boiled water, and as I've gone through, I've also added a couple of stock cubes to this, and let me tell you, this was so delicious. My daughter even stole most of this. I didn't get to have very much of any of the leftovers, and it was incredible, especially with the crusty bread. I was really mindful of how tricky this white cabbage can be. So first of all, I pan fried it, and I added a little bit of water in the bottom of there just to help it soften. And then again, I put it on a baking tray with some more water just to help it braise in the oven. And this is what it looks like when it came out. Those gnarly, slightly caught burnt bits were incredibly delicious, and it was a great accompaniment. And one of the things that it wasn't a compliment to were these chicken wings. I can't believe how many chicken wings you got in here for £2.9. This is one of my favourite starters when I go out. And especially if you've got access to herbs, spices and sauces, it's brilliant. I'm not, so I'm just going to throw them into a pan and fry them off. But actually, because they're so juicy and tender, you get all the spices and the herbs and flavours off of the chicken skin. And if you wanted to throw something else in this pan afterwards to be cooked, it's great. The sauce and the vibrance of it is incredible. I tried scratching up some of the flavours from the bottom of this pan. Seriously, it was brilliant. So I give these a quick toss and turn, making sure all the pink was gone. And then I actually threw these in the oven in the end just to finish them off, so I knew they would definitely cook through. I am super fussy about my chicken on a bone. But then I also made this carrot and swede mash, and it was just from the things I'd already prepared. And I had to go with a masher at first, but you know what? I had to whiz out the actual hand blender just to make it super soft and smooth. And after a few goes, it was so easy as well, actually, to be fair. I thought it was going to be more difficult than this. And it was so, so nice. So I had chicken wings, carrot and sweet mash, and some of those gorgeous braised cabbage too. Right, let's get on with that French onion style soup. So I've sliced these onions and I'm just giving them a quick pan fry until they turn to this lovely goldeny kind of colour. Then I'm adding in some water, and I'm literally just eyeballing however much water I need. And I've got a stock cube going in there. It's a chicken stock cube, just to add a little bit more depth. And let me tell you again, this was so amazing and so sweet. I did sprinkle a bit of sugar in there as well, and some crispy onions that I made, and it was so, so nice, honestly. I don't even care that this isn't the traditional way of making this soup. I would so totally make it this way again. It was incredibly amazing. So I've got a Teams meeting this morning, so it's porridge, and I'm just going to throw it in my mug because I can do both at the same time, eat and do Teams, so that is the plan. So already these handy little sachets are paying for themselves in terms of value, but I accidentally put way too much water in this one. Lesson learned. It was interesting to eat, and you know what, it filled a hole, and that's all we needed to do it for. But tomorrow I think I'll be putting slightly less water in. Next recipe was this really super simple 3-ingredient recipe. I just threw the pasta into a low, shallow frying pan just so it cooked a little bit quicker. Once it was cooked, drained it off, added some tin tomatoes to the frying pan just to heat those through. And then I'm going to throw back the pasta in that's already been cooked just to add them together. I did decide it might need a touch more tomatoes for my preference, but I've still got loads of those left. And then just for a little bit of extra creaminess, I've got a dollop of this cottage cheese going in. If it was in the budget, then maybe you'd add regular cream cheese or cream to this just to make it a bit more unctuous. And yeah, overall it was so super filling, this one. So, I'm just trying it. Well, definitely could do with it a bit of salt and pepper. Maybe I'd love to put some herbs and spices in, but it'll do. So next up, we've got this 28p packet of rice, which I'm just going to cook according to the instructions, and just top it up with water. And the plan here is basically to make some sort of what would have been ideally a curry if you could use the spices, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to grab this tin of chopped tomatoes. I'm just going to add this to some of those pre-cooked vegetables and some of the meat off the chicken wings. And actually this was really, really nice. And if you could add extra herbs, spices, chili, curry powder, whatever to this would be an incredible meal actually. Right, so that is the week done. And I want to give a little bit of feedback, a little bit of reflection and my thoughts on how it went. So first of all, it was hard some days, especially when you wanted something sweet, which I couldn't necessarily have. Definitely fruit. I miss fruit because I do eat quite a lot of that. But it can be done. It can be done. And I actually had some leftovers. Sometimes the kids stole some of my soups and other things as well. So, I had more than enough to do. It's probably not the most nutritionally balanced. Yes, I could have done with a lot more protein in there for my personal preferences. But it's doable in a short term. I mean, I'm not saying I'm recommending that you do all of this in every single week because I think it's going to be tricky. But what I'm saying to you is if you're at a point where you're trying to cut back for 1 or 2 weeks, or you want some ideas for some super cheap meals, use some of these, throw them into your everyday, your shopping. You throw a couple of those meals in to your week to try and draw back and save on your budget, your food budget, which is only going up. And just to prove the point off, when I started researching for this video, I did it a couple of days before I actually went physically shopping. And in the time of doing it, those prices had gone up to the point of I couldn't buy a couple of the items that I'd planned on buying. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fussy about what I like and things like that. You could have got other things. You could, you can make different changes and adaptations because as I explained at the beginning of the video, there was things that I chose to spend more on that I didn't need to. Basically, I was lucky I dropped on when I went shopping that they had those deals on, which we all know are loss leaders. So, they entice you in with items that are actually probably going to make a loss for them. But the whole idea is that you then spend more time in their store. And they usually tend to do these around Easter time, Christmas time, get you in with the cheap items that they can afford to make a loss on so that you spend more money on those bigger bucks items. But, if you prefer to do a bit of work, a little bit of research, spend some time, there are options in there. There are things that are still made that you can still make at those consistent prices, whether you go for loss leaders or not. But I hope it has been of some use to you. If you are struggling financially with food or, anything else that you're doing, there are charities out there that will help you. I'll link some down below. Please do not go without. Get on your local council website. They will be able to help you a little bit further. Usually links in there to guide you in the right place. There are lots of companies around, certainly my area, so I'm confident there'll be in other people's areas where you can get food for free. There are churches, there are donations, there are food banks. So please do reach out and try and find something that will help you if you need to. Have yourself an amazing day. If you've liked this video, let me know in the comments section. Do more just like this one, and I will see you really soon. Bye.